Welcome back to the Explainer. Our goal today is simple, but man, is it powerful. We're going to help you sound way more natural and understand native English speakers a whole lot easier. We'll be breaking down this fantastic practice session that teaches practical language skills all wrapped up inside a really heartwarming story. Let me ask you directly, do you want to speak English with more confidence? Like, do you want to stop completely freezing up when it's your turn to talk in a meeting or just ordering at a cafe? If you're nodding your head yes, well, you are definitely in the right place. Today, we're introducing the foundational methods to actually train your brain to think and speak in English. Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our roadmap for today. First, Tom's free English lessons. Second, an essential vocabulary breakdown. Third, listen and repeat practice. Fourth, test your speaking fluency. And finally, the shadowing technique. Section 1. Tom's free English lessons. A story of community impact. So before we get into the heavy grammar stuff, let's just start with a simple conversation. Tom is a regular guy who met a young boy who desperately wanted to learn English, but he just couldn't afford the classes. And instead of just feeling bad and walking away, Tom actually decided to step up and help him out. So how does he actually pull this off? Well, let's break down Tom's lesson logistics. He holds these classes twice a week, and he focuses entirely on the absolute fundamentals. We're talking speaking, reading, and simple grammar. His ultimate goal? To help these children build a better future. And what's just so fantastic here is that he isn't using some incredibly complex or expensive curriculum. He's just using simple, consistent practice, proving that even a basic curriculum can have a literally life-changing impact. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is this single number, 1. Just last week, after practicing all that reading and simple grammar, one single child bravely stood up and spoke English in front of the entire class for the very first time. I mean, imagine the courage that takes for a young learner. That single moment of success is exactly why Tom does what he does. All right, moving on to Section 2, Essential Vocabulary Breakdown, Building Blocks of Fluency. Our first crucial phrase is make a difference. Basically, this means to help improve a situation or have a positive effect on someone or something. Think about it in the context of your own daily life. Like, good teachers can make a huge difference in their students' lives, right? Or recycling can make a difference for the environment. It's really all about creating a positive change in the world around you. When explaining his motivation, Tom said, "I want to make a difference in their lives." You can truly feel the emotion there, can't you? He isn't just teaching dry textbook rules. He is actively trying to improve these kids' futures. And tying the vocabulary directly back to this real-life emotion, it just makes the grammar so much easier to remember. Next up, we have a slightly tricky grammar point, must have. So we use must have to say we are almost completely sure that something happened in the past. It's a really strong assumption based on clear evidence. For example, if your friend Sarah got 100% on her test, well, you know she must have studied really hard. Or if you look outside and the roads are totally wet, it must have rained earlier. Make sense? In the story, when Tom told his friend about the little boy successfully speaking English in front of the whole class, his friend naturally replied, "That's amazing. He must have felt very proud." Notice how the friend wasn't actually there, but based on that incredible achievement, he is absolutely certain the boy felt a deep sense of pride. This is a perfect example of how native speakers naturally use must-have to describe emotional states. Our final vocabulary word for this section is grow. Simply put, it means to become bigger, stronger, better, or to develop over time. Now, obviously, we all know that children grow really quickly physically, but this concept applies perfectly to invisible things too. Just like a plant needs water to grow, your English skills grow with daily practice. And this brilliantly illustrates Tom's ultimate reward. He says, "Seeing his confidence grow makes me happy." He wasn't talking about physical height. He was watching his students' self-belief and ability develop and strengthen over time. That is the true underlying power of teaching and learning right there. Okay, let's jump to Section 3, Listen and Repeat Practice, from theory to action. Repetition is absolutely the undeniable key to success in speaking English. So here is the exact, methodical approach to maximize your practice. Step 1, listen slowly. Step 2, listen again, but at a normal conversational speed. And step 3, repeat it out loud.
doing your best to copy the pronunciation and the rhythm. Speak clearly and with confidence, and please, do not worry about being perfect at first. Just speak. The more you repeat this process out loud, the more natural your English is going to sound.
Moving right along to Section 4, Test Your Speaking Fluency, Interactive Q&A. For this practice, I actually need you to open your ears and answer out loud before the correct response is given. Let's look at how this works. If the prompt asks, "Was Tom sad today?" you wouldn't just mumble, "No." To actually build fluency, you gotta answer in a full sentence. "No, he wasn't sad. He was happy today." Answering in complete sentences forces your brain to retrieve the grammar and vocabulary quickly, which is what builds your natural speed and reflexes. Let's walk through another rapid-fire example. The prompt asks, "Did Tom start giving Japanese lessons?" Your brain processes the story you learned and you respond out loud, "No, he didn't. He started giving free English lessons." See how powerful that is? By constantly prompting yourself and responding fully out loud, you are actively bridging that gap between just understanding English and actually speaking it fluidly.
And finally, Section 5, the shadowing technique, mastering natural speech.
Shadowing is basically the ultimate secret weapon used by dedicated language learners to sound like a confident speaker. So what exactly is it? Well, you repeat each line exactly as the native speaker says it, in real time. You are literally copying their exact rhythm, their intonation, and their pronunciation. You essentially become their shadow. By mimicking them perfectly as they speak, you're training your mouth muscles and your brain to produce the language completely naturally. Let's bring this whole narrative full circle with one final, incredibly powerful quote from Tom. He says, "I hope so. Even small efforts can make a difference." This applies perfectly to Tom helping his community by volunteering his time just twice a week. But, it also applies directly to you in your personal language journey. 5 minutes of shadowing, 10 minutes of answering Q&A prompts out loud. These are small efforts for sure, but man, they really build up. I want to leave you with this final provocative thought. If you repeat these practices every single day, if you listen, repeat, test yourself, and shadow, how will your small efforts make a difference in your fluency? Think about that young boy, terrified but standing up in front of his class, finally finding his voice. That could absolutely be you in your next English conversation. Keep practicing, keep stepping up, and watch your confidence grow. See you next time on The Explainer.